What's up, what's up, what's up? It's Curry Spice back with another video. So I think I'm gonna make this video about the things about modeling that I don't like. And these things that I don't like are like my pet peeves. And they're the hardest things to deal with. They are possibly things that I can see in other people where it would entice them to quit. And that could be why modeling is difficult. So these are one of the things that I've noticed is that out of like my research, I was told, or that I read in my research, that it's good to have friends who model, and that's true to an extent, but not the way that you might think. So I'll explain. I've noticed that it's not really beneficial to have friends who model, not in the way that it should be beneficial, because there are models who, like, you would think that they will all network with each other, and you think they will all network with each other and share casting call information as soon as they get it. You know, that's what you would expect from a fellow model. However, I noticed that they're not that generous. So what I've been noticing from the other models is, like, you'd be lucky if they share maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 casting calls with you. However, it's like seems like they get into some kind of competition mode where they're thinking, okay, well, it's going to decrease my chances of getting selected if I share this casting information with them. So let me just keep it for myself to increase my chances of getting called. So it's like that kind of thing. And that kind of thing just really makes me sad. And I try to be an example. Like, I share casting information with people to kind of help them realize, like, okay, well, if she's sharing this information with me, maybe I should share some information with her. But then that makes me feel bad, because then it's like I'm giving them something for something, you know? But then at the same time, it's just common courtesy. Like, I'm just trying to entice them to be more thoughtful of other people, like fellow models who they also know who are in the industry, and like share the love, you know? So a lot of models, they don't share the love. So the people I have, and it's not everybody, but there are people I have shared casting call information with, and it seems more like a taking advantage kind of thing. So that's the other thing where it could kind of backfire, where like doing something really good for someone can turn into this kind of dependency. And then if you don't share the casting call information, then it makes you look like an asshole. So it's like you're kind of stuck, like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't even know what the solution is. I don't know. I guess maybe to have some kind of balance with it. And the kind of balance you should have is you can treat people the way you want to be treated, and share information with them, but then also kind of gauge if they're taking advantage or not, and then just end it. Like, if you feel like they're taking advantage, then just don't give them any more information. So it's like a way to kind of balance it, so that way you're still being generous, but then dialing it back if you feel taken advantage of. And it gets difficult because, I mean, if you're a big-hearted person like I am, then it gets difficult, but you just have to find the right balance. So that's pretty much what it's all about. Modeling with friends can be scary because, and this is another thing, and it kind of, yeah, this is another thing. So modeling with friends, you have to be realistic about it because this is still a business, and you have to realize that just because you're all going to the audition together or the casting call together as this one big happy family type unit doesn't necessarily mean that you'll all get selected. So that's what I mean about being realistic. You have to keep in mind that if you were to invite 2 or 3 other friends, or let's say 3 friends, but only one of you gets called back, like the person who shared the information with the other models is the person who didn't get selected, like things like that. That can happen, you know? So you have to be able to brace yourself for that. And like, because a lot of people, like, we don't like to get rejected. We hate it. We take it as like it's a jab to our ego. It's like makes us jealous, and you have to be able to know how to handle that. Like, you have to work on your emotional intelligence, and that's very difficult for a lot of people because we have the tendency to get in our feelings when we feel slighted in any kind of way. So that's something to think about. So those are the 2 big things about modeling that I don't like. The other thing is, it seems like, oh, there's like 2 things that pop in my head, and I don't know which one to talk about first. So one of the things is, and check on my exploitation video, like about modeling and exploitation in the modeling world, because that also touches on some things as well. So one other thing is, it's so difficult to find a casting call. So difficult. And you're very much on your own to look for it. You have to go through a long listings of casting calls, and a lot of them you might not fit the bill for because everyone has a different category that they're in based on ethnicity or body size, age, things like that, personality. So there's so many different elements that go into it. So it's not like I'm eligible for every single casting, because I'm not. So it takes a while to like sift through everything. And it can be tedious as well. So I could see how someone could be encouraged to no longer pursue modeling, because these little tedious things about it can make it very discouraging if you let it. So you do have to persevere through this for sure. Hey, I'm filming. Another thing is, it's easier to find those to negotiate with who are looking for volunteer models. So they're looking for volunteer models, meaning unpaid models. So when there's a fashion coordinator or a designer who is looking for volunteer models, they're more willing to accept everybody, which is great, but then it's not, because the more serious, more stern strict casting calls. Like if you maybe go to Hollywood, you know, like go somewhere in the heart of Los Angeles to go to their agency, which is like they're more established. They know what they want. They're willing to even pay to get what they want, depending on who the model is and if they feel like if that model is going to be a huge asset to their company. They're willing to pay money. But they're more selective, extremely selective when money's involved. And that part can get very frustrating. Tyra Banks, I've heard Tyra Banks say on the record that, not to me, obviously, because I don't know her, but it was like an interview or I don't know, I don't know what she was in, or maybe an article of some sort where she was saying that she was rejected many times. And it's most likely because she was approaching these top-notch agencies who they see you, they either know if they want you or if they don't, like they know right off the bat. They might see your walk, you know, and just in case they might change their mind about the looks part or, you know, the confidence, all this stuff. Like they look at the model, but they just give you like this quick once over and they already decided whether they want you or not. They don't decide in your favor. And like I said, when money's involved, things get more strict. They get tighter. So that part can get very discouraging because like you do have to have perseverance and like motivation and to just have a strong passion for this. And you have to be stubborn in the sense where you're not going to give up until you get that yes. So, and I have those qualities. So if it's something I really want, then I'll be stubborn about it, you know? And I'm not going to give up until I get it. So that's some things to consider. That's one of the biggest things, I would say maybe top 4 things about being a model that are just like my pet peeves. And actually another issue would be that even if you do get selected for any kind of job, there are fashion coordinators or designers or whoever it is who's in charge of selecting the models. They lean more towards not paying versus paying who they selected to be in the fashion show. So it's like they constantly try to lowball the models, constantly, every chance they get. And it's not all agencies, of course. It's not all agencies, but it's a lot of them out there. It's always about finding that asset. They want the model who's the asset, the model who can help make them famous, but they want it for dirt cheap or free. So that's the exploitation, you know what I mean? Because modeling is a job. Some people may not see it as a serious job, but I see it as a very serious job. It's an important job. It sells because I'm like a walking clothes rack. Like I'm a walking clothes rack and I'm advertising whatever outfit I'm wearing, whether I like the outfit personally or not. Whatever that designer tells me to wear, I have to walk out in the runway and walk in it as though it's the best outfit in the world. And that's another thing I don't like. I don't like that I don't have control. I don't like that I don't have control over what I wear on the runway. Because you have the most confidence And I know this is something it's something I need to train in myself to find like a better mindset about it. But if the designer gives me a trash bag to wear and to model in, I have to find a way. It's my duty to find a way to make that trash bag look like it's the best outfit ever. And I'm doing that in my confidence and in my walk. You know, it's all in the presentation. So it's that mindset you have to eliminate your personal views on the outfit, because it's not about the model's opinion. It's just about making the clothes look good, even when they don't, making them look good. Or even if you feel like it doesn't look good, you got to make it look like it looks good. Or at least act like you think it looks good. And that's difficult. There's some acting. There's a little bit of acting in modeling, guys. And you wouldn't expect that, but yeah, it is for sure. There was something else. What was the other thing? Another thing I don't like about modeling is the rat race. I was born and raised in New York. I always hated the rat race ever since I was a kid. I didn't know why I hated it. I just would have this weird anxiety about it. But I hated the rat race. I tell you, I hated it. And I couldn't explain why or express why. But when you're behind stage and people are snapping with you, like the designers, and they're like, hurry the hell up because the show is already started and you're about to go out there in the next 5 seconds, so hurry up and get on there, get on stage, and they literally just push you out, and or something like push you out. And it's just very rat racy with the constant wardrobe changes. Like, strip it off, like as soon as you get out, like as soon as you get backstage, it's like, take your clothes off right away, grab the other outfit, put it on as fast as you can, get like a quick once over the way you look or whatever, even if you have time for that. Or the designer will take one last look at you before you go back on stage again. So it's very, very rat racy. So you have to be able to handle that. Just know that the way to handle that is to just know that it's temporary. You're not stuck in a fashion show forever. You know? Yeah, it's just a temporary rat race. And I will take that kind of rat race over a Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 type rat race any day. Like, I'll definitely take the modeling rat race. I'll take that. But yeah, you get through it because, like, if it's something you just really love to do, then you'll do it. Even if it's doing it for free, you will do it. And I know I said that, like, doing it for free. Like, you want to do something that you love, just you love it so much that you would do it for free, but you do want to get paid for it, though. Like, if you can, you do want to get paid for it, because it's all about survival. We're living in Los Angeles, guys. Things are hard out here. And I know everybody has a different opinion about that. Richer people think living in Los Angeles is no problem because they're established. Whereas people who are not as established think it's difficult. So it's all mindset. It's all mindset. And that's another episode. But and then it's also about who you know. And that's another thing about modeling. It seems to be about who you know. There's a little bit of favoritism in there too. There's different elements. It's not always about being beautiful. Being beautiful helps, it gets your foot in the door. But modeling is not just about that. It's about your confidence. It's about who you know. It's about the way you network. It's about the way you strategize, like when it comes to that networking. It's about how clever you are, how smart you are. What are you willing to do to get your castings? Like, how do you get your castings? Are you like a ninja when it comes to just finding castings and grabbing any casting or every casting you can possibly get? And these castings are to like top-notch fashion shows. Like, if you can do it, then ooh. If I wasn't holding the phone right now, I'd give you guys a round of applause if you're doing that, you know, because that's on the level that I want to be, and I'm almost there, but not quite. But I'm getting closer. I'm very, very close because I'm getting noticed. If you're getting noticed, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. And social media helps. It helps expedite getting you known faster. It really does help as a model. And even just as an actor or dancer, or whatever it is that you do, I highly encourage having as many social media accounts as you can. Like, just touch on all the top platforms, you know, Instagram, Facebook, even Twitter. And I don't even really like my Twitter because I just don't, I post on it every day, but I don't use it. I don't personally use it in that way. I just post on it. And I do get responses on my Twitter. If someone were to comment, I'd respond, but I don't browse Twitter. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if I think of anything else, or if you think of something, just comment in the section box down below. And my daughter is down there. She's in here. But anyway, as always, I'm looking forward to spicing up your life one episode at a time. And take care. All right, bye. Oh, guys, I keep finding stuff. So, let me tell you this really quickly. So, my last thing would be something about the rat race, or just something about modeling that makes me uneasy. Is that, well, I have mixed feelings about it, but it's like, when it's like an all-day event, it's fun at first, but then you don't really get fed, or sometimes you do get fed, but pickings can be slim depending on the budget of the person who organized it. But yeah, so sometimes you do get fed, and if you do get fed, that's good. But there's usually like some agencies or organizations, if they don't pay you, they'll at least give you food. But even with that, sometimes it's like they just have just enough food for everybody to eat. But it's not like not always going to be like the smorgasbord night. Like, it's not like family cookout type proportions. You know what I mean? So that's something to consider. And then it's just a lot of standing. So I wouldn't recommend wearing your heels all day, like the heels that you intend on walking in for the runway walk. Don't walk in them all day long, because all it's going to do is just make you tired faster. It's going to make you start hurting, maybe, depending on if you could even walk in heels or not. There's a lot of factors in it. And when a fashion show is at the end, like if it's at the end of the day, but then the model call is at the very beginning, like in the morning, then it's an all-day event for you. It's like all-day preparations, pretty much. And by the time you're on the runway, it's bedtime. You know what I mean? And that can be very taxing. It could be taxing on the body. And I've been cranky right after fashion shows. I'm just tired. don't talk to me, husband, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I just need a few minutes to kind of take some time and just kind of just meditate after all of that chaos. So that's how I am. That's how I can be. Like, I need my time to meditate. And I don't like that I get cranky after a fashion show. I want to be all like celebratory and like, we did it. And, you know, and there are times where I am like that. But if the fashion show is just like all day long preparations, and then I'm not getting home until like 11 p.m. because of all the just all the preparations, and just it's just very taxing.